Again, these drivers rolling out here for what will be a 20-lap race, a 40-minute window out of the final corner. And we are green, green, green as Sykes gets the jump. To the outside will be Matt Clark, Kenny Hold as they work their way to the Cooper Tire Bridge. They'll come through turn number 1. Clark trying to hold that spot, but better for him even to just be able to tuck in. Seeing if those drivers get through cleanly. No, we see a yellow flag there, so one driver's already off. The flag was flying as they came through turn number 1. So a couple of drivers, maybe a trio of drivers off down into turn number 1 as everybody else clean and green coming up through turn number 2. Simon Sykes, the 22, getting that lead, expecting to go full course yellow if those drivers are stranded. But Rusty, here they come to you right now. Sykes is your leader.
Coming down the straightaway, we've got the 18 across track, but I've got the 9 buried right now. Logan Adams buried in the gravel. He's not going to be able to rejoin.
We had a big scramble there for second, third, fourth. Right now, up into that second place position is Matt Clark, but he is going to be challenged as they work their way through turn number 6. Side by side they go all the way back through 6.
And that side-by-side battle for about that 5th position is between the 6 of Evagoras Papasavas, yesterday's winner. So it'll be fun to watch him come back up through the front of the field, see if he can get to Sykes. We've got a red flag on the course, and looks like a full course yellow.
Indeed, yeah, full course yellow coming out for the driver stranded off in turn number 1. And normally when we do that, something happens. We do kind of give them a majority of the lap if they can to kind of get things sorted out, give them a chance to make some overtakes. Simon Sykes comes across as the leader. Second place right now, Matt Clark in the 3rd spot. Lockie Hughes, he goes up a position. Papasavas down to 4th. Johnson now 5th. Nikita Johnson, who went off the track yesterday all the way back to dead last.
18th.
And then fought himself back up into a top 5 run. Great job for Nikita Johnson. Max Garcia made a pass on Jacob Douglas there, heading through Madness over to turn number 9. Was able to get to the inside. Garcia up into 6th, the driver out of Coconut Grove, Florida, just 14 years of age. Jacob Douglas, the Kiwi, in the 7th spot. Ethan Ho in 8th. Sam Corey in 9th. And Chase Gardner up a spot. Drivers involved in the incident, we believe, was Adams. We said that before. Logan Adams off the racetrack. We'll see whether or not we'll get him drugged back out in time. But a tough one for Logan, who was really just looking, after a solid run yesterday, John was just looking for another clean race. But you never know what happens when those drivers get rolling through turn number 1.
Yeah, exactly right. They went through kind of 3 wide. Rusty, you can give us a replay of that, I think.
Yeah, the couple of drivers came together in the middle of turn 1. That was Max Taylor involved in that. Danny Duchelski is the one that stalled the car, got it running right before the pace car popped out, and we did change this from a red flag to a full course yellow, so we are now under a pace car control, but we do still have that 9 of Logan Adams hooked up right now to the truck, and they're going to try to pull him out of the gravel trap and get him back underway.
That's what we want. We want to get him back on the track. And, John, I'll just say this. One of the great things about running with IndyCar as we do, the access we have to the AMR IndyCar safety team. We actually have 3 of those individuals that join us at our USF Juniors races as well to kind of quarterback our safety efforts and cleanup efforts. And that's one of the things about this, right? You know that they're going to be on the job so quickly. They get us back to green flag racing, get those cars out. They are professionals. And, again, just part of what we have is amazing to be able to have those guys connected. Rusty, let's get back to you. You got an update for us?
Well, we've got the 9 car rolling. He is out of the gravel trap into the grass right now. Hopefully get him restarted. But I also noticed, I believe that's Max Taylor, who did not make it back around. He was involved in that, got himself out of the gravel, but he stopped at the entry to the keyhole, and we're backing a wrecker up to him. So I think they're going to need, he had enough damage, they're going to have to lift that car, probably take it through that track cut that we have up there outside the keyhole turn, and I think his race is going to be done.
Yeah, indeed. You nailed it. We've got a good shot of that right now as they are working on the car of Max Taylor. You guarantee you had the contact there. Remember, Taylor had the issue at the start, wasn't able to get rolling.
Yep.
You wonder whether or not maybe something happened heading down into turn number 1, but the bottom line is he was able to get rolling again. Every driver's going to try. I'm going to try to bring it back to pit lane, and likely just drove up the hill into the keyhole and realized that the damage was terminal. We do have a couple of guys coming into pit lane as well here, John. Front wing damage for the number 19, Duchelski, the North Carolina driver, rolling in, as is the 18 coming in. That's Duchelski, and the 19 is actually Ping, I believe. So, no, that's Scully. So Scully in as well. So a couple of the VRD drivers, that crew going to have to go to work down on pit lane. I think maybe even a front wing for both those drivers.
Yeah, they had trouble getting Max Taylor away from the line, so it's going to be a busy morning here for the VRD crew.
And remember, we're back at it this afternoon. Back-to-back races, like I said this morning, USF 2000. Then we'll finish up our podium presentation and head right into USF Pro. Those drivers will be up next, the top rung of this USF Pro Championships. And then this afternoon, we wrap it all up at the end of the day, going back-to-back again. We'll wrap up our time here at this Mid-Ohio event today. We won't be on track tomorrow, so the drivers will start looking forward to the street circuit race in Toronto in just a couple of weeks' time, another great Green Savory event. So, again, Simon Sykes getting the lead. There's the car of Taylor getting hauled away. So Sykes, Clark, Hughes, Papasavas, and Johnson, top 5. Garcia, Douglas, Ho, Corey, and Gardner, the top 10. Ping runs 11th. Garcias in 12th. Schrag up to, Schrag. Excellent job for Thomas Schrag up into 13th. Remember, started all the way at the tail of the field in 21st. So not only does he get some attrition, drivers getting together, but he's able to stay out of the way. He goes to 13th. Very similar to what he did yesterday, John, starting from the tail of the field and leveraging an early yellow to work his way up into essentially the top 15.
Yeah, exactly right. So Thomas Schrag, again, making his debut with the series here this weekend, as is Carson Hetter, Brady Golan, and Logan Adams, all making their first starts with the series, coming up from the junior series.
And we get that, John, right? In a program like this, I don't care which one it is, everybody's kind of thinking about, midway through the season, maybe I'll test the waters of where I want to be next year, get a chance to do a couple of one-offs here and there. That way, when you roll into the off-season testing, you've already had a couple of races under your belt. You're still finishing off the program you're in, but you're kind of testing things to be ready for 2024. And we're all pretty excited about 2024. We're looking to have banner grids next year. And again, of course, USF Juniors, excited to see that program continue to grow. That juniors program actually uses a very similar race car to what we use in USF 2000, just a couple of different components, and then as well a restrictor on the engine. Looks like we're going to go one more time around here, John, as they're coming through the carousel here now. Pace car stays out, so one more lap here under yellow.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like they were able to clear Max Taylor's car pretty quickly up there at the keyholes. They went out what we call the back door. There's a break in the action there that they can get the cars off the racing surface more quickly rather than have to come all the way back around. But apparently with just waiting as getting our AMR safety trucks restaged, the truck that's normally at turn 11 just now backing into his position. So it took just a little longer to get that done, as we've got another car coming into the pits right behind one of the AMR safety vehicles.
Yeah, I think it's Gordon Scully back in again in the number 19, maybe just getting one more adjustment to the car. They'll bring him in here.
He's got a new nose already on the car, so they're coming in and going to make one more tweak. He has nothing to lose. He can, catch up to the back of the pack.
That's it. Yep.
So
they got him back out obviously quick enough. He was able to get back to the tail of the pack, jump back in here. He'll have to get on his giddy up though when he gets back out here, because I believe we're going to go green this next time by. Drivers involved, as we said, Taylor, Jachelski, and Logan Adams. Adams and Jachelski back out on the racetrack as he rockets by us here at start finish. So again, the tail of the field lining things back up, and when we get back around, Simon Sykes will see what he can do to defend from Matt Clark. Interesting, you look at right now the top 5, and only driver in the top 5 without a victory. They all have a win. You got to go back to Garcia right now. Sykes with a couple of wins already. Matt Clark's looking for his first road course win of the year. Was able to win last year in a one-off event at the season finale at Portland after winning the USF Juniors Championship. Came up and ran USF 2001 in Portland at the finale, but he won the oval at IRP this year, the Freedom 75. So looking for that first road course win, but for Clark, winning on the oval, I think that's a nice little check mark on the resume.
Also known as Lucas Oil Raceway, to be fair. And he won from the pole, actually, in that race. So Matt Clark, who's a road course specialist, obviously, has no problem doing well on the oval as well. That's the only oval you guys run?
That's the only one we run this year, yeah. We're looking to add another one next year. We'll see how it plays out. But you mentioned Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park. The name has changed, I think, over the 13 years we've been going there for the last little while. It keeps moving around. Back to IRP, which I love. And again, great to be at that 5/8 mile oval. What a great race it always is at IRP. Drivers getting set to go. And again, we're working our way out of the carousel. A single file restart. We'll put lap 4 in the book, so still 16 to go. And we're back underway. Green flag flying. And actually, the challenge is going to come from Lockie Hughes. He's going to look to the inside of Clark coming through and Thies through into turn number 1. Lockie Hughes goes to the inside. He takes the spot, but can Clark come back and get him as they work their way up to the keyhole? Sykes, the benefactor of that, he's going to run on a nice wide line. Otherwise, we are racing hard. As to the inside, or the outside rather, comes Papasavas. He's trying to make a move around the outside. I think he got that to stick, John.
Yeah, it sure looks like it, as they're still side by side as the two Jay Howard drivers coming into the view of Rusty Bell.
Down in front of me, Papasavas making that wide, going around the outside at the entry to the keyhole turn, and both got around Matt Clark.
Yeah, the good battle right now for second place, side by side as they work their way up through 5. Continue to lead, Simon Sykes, the 8 car up there into second, Lockie Hughes. And now the battle, losing ground now is Papasavas as he is passed by Matt Clark.
And Simon Sykes is opened up by about 10 car lengths. That battle for third is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way back through the field, single file, and about a half a car length between all of them.
Yeah, Papasavas had to check up a little bit coming down through turn number 4 at the end of the long back straightaway behind his teammate. That allowed Clark to kind of run over the outside of turn number 5 and get that move down to the apex of turn 6. A really strong run there for him. This is allowing Sykes to pull away, though. Lockie Hughes, that's first and second in points, first and second on the racetrack. Clark runs in the third spot. Papasavas and Johnson, fourth and fifth. Garcia, sixth. Sam Corey, the VRD number 14, carrying the flag for that team. He and Johnson, they've worked their way now up into seventh for Corey. Douglas runs in eighth. Gardner up to ninth now, and Ethan Ho running in the 10th position. We talked about it yesterday, John. The first couple laps after the restart gets a little bit hectic. Finally, things start to settle in. We're getting close, although we have some battling outside the top 10 going side by side right there as well. Look at that little jink to the side. 3 wide as they come out of the keyhole. So a little bit of action in front of you, Rusty.
Watching it here in front of me, 4 cars together, but we're keeping an eye on Nikita Johnson. Was quick at the end of the race yesterday, looking for him to move up.
We watch as they come by, no change there at the front. Biggest battle right now between the 95, Chase Gardner, and Ethan Ho. That's a battle for 10th place.
And looking for that battle as the top 10 have pretty much single filed out, plenty of space between all of them. The 14 goes by as that is Sam Corey continuing to make his way up through the field right behind Max Garcia and Papasavas.
Yeah, Chase Gardner and that bright black and yellow machine was getting attacked there by Ethan Ho, but now it's Zach Ping in the 97 coming up to kind of make Ho think more about what's behind him and not what's in front of him. So that's going to help Gardner a little bit as he tries to chase down Jacob Douglas. Sykes now leading by 2.7 seconds, so a solid lead for the driver out of Augusta, Georgia. And we'll take the opportunity, John, here to talk a little about Simon Sykes. Here's a guy who has won a couple of SCCA runoff national championships, does not have the budget that he needs to go all the way up the ladder. He's been kind of piecemealing together rides over the last couple of years. Ran with Legacy Autosport over the past couple of seasons, but never put in a full season, although he's always been really strong here at Mid-Ohio. Getting this opportunity to run with the juggernaut that is Pabst Racing. Really the best opportunity of his career, and he said it in one of our most recent mini documentaries. If you go to our app or on the YouTube channel, you can see The Climb, which is our mini doc brought to you by Discount Tire. And he said, if I don't win this year, I'm thinking about another career, because really this is it. He needs to get the scholarship to be able to move on. He's trying to win a championship for Pabst Racing. Simon Sykes with that second place yesterday takes over the point lead, but man, he needs this championship or he's done, right?
Yeah, it looks like Chase Gardner has solidified his hold on 11th spot, or 9th spot, excuse me, but Garcia Arce all over the back of Ethan Ho for that 10th position.
Yeah, I said before that it was Ping, but it's actually Garcia Arce, the Mexican for D-Force Racing, who's been able to get by Ping as well, and so did Al Maury. He's been up into the 12th spot as well. Maury, who had a top 10 run yesterday, he's on the move as well, having started back in the 17th position, so he is up 5 spots. Good run for Al Maury right now, but that'll be the battle we watch. He's trying to come up, but Garcia Arce in that number 10, John, you picked it up. He's starting to put the pressure on Ethan Ho. Ho's got to look behind him, and that's allowed Chase Gardner to put the target on the back of Jacob Douglas. Last time, he was 0.2 quicker. The gap between Douglas and Gardner now just 0.3 of a second. Watch for that battle to start to heat up.
Duchelski also in recovery mode. Remember, he was caught up in that 3-car battle into the gravel trap on the first lap. He's worked his way back up into 16th position, so watch the number 18.
We're excited to, of course, see the drivers here in the USF Juniors program coming up to test the waters here in USF 2000. They've been doing a great job so far. As they work their way back to Tom into the turn 4, 5, 6 combination, Sykes with a pretty solid lead.
Yep, he's got a very solid lead. The battle right now for third place. Holding on to the position right now, Matt Clark. Papasavas right behind him. And he looks in his mirrors and sees Johnson. Nikita Johnson there in 5th.
And that battle here in turn 9 between 3rd, 4th, 5th of Matt Clark, Papasavos, and Nikita Johnson. They're down through Thunder Valley, nothing doing, as there's about a car length between each of them as they head back up towards the carousel.
Papasavos right on the back of Clark as they got down into turn number 4, but Matt Clark able to eke out maybe a 2 or 3 car length advantage in the twisty bits here, and now he's a little more solidly in that 3rd spot. He's got his sights set forward now on Lockie Hughes, who came into this weekend, as you said, as the point leader.
He's falling back a little bit right now, and
Yep.
With Sykes where he's running now, could extend that point lead a little bit more. And of course, another race coming this afternoon. You always want to be good here at these triple header weekends. You want to get out of the gate strong. Sykes second yesterday, a win today would of course set up for another one maybe this afternoon. But I think the cool thing to watch right now is we're seeing this aggression coming out of Papasavos and Nikita Johnson. Both these young drivers now with one win. Papasavos getting that one yesterday, getting number one, the pressure's off. He's won the first victory. He needed that, but now he's got the confidence as well. And so of course did Nikita Johnson. He knew he had one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Got driven off in turn I think 4 on the opening lap. Stormed his way back forward and passed about 13 cars to get himself back up into a top 5 finish. So both those drivers coming into this one, John, with the understanding that they got good speed. Matt Johnson's all over the gearbox, Steve, as he comes back over to you. That's a great fight right now for P5.
And that battle goes side by side, jumping to the inside, taking a look. He's got it. They'll bang wheels off of turn number 9, heading down through turn 10, and Johnson will move up a spot.
Wow, great pickup there, Steve. And Johnson is on it. I've talked about this young 15-year-old. We never really have to worry about the aggression of him. He will get into it, get in the scrap, elbows up. But we've seen some more maturity out of the young 15-year-old. He knows he's in the championship battle. He knows that he's got a future in front of him. He just needs to run good laps. And I'm really impressed by what Nikita Johnson's been doing here. A strong run there. And listen, John, you've called a lot of races here. Turn number 9 is not an easy place to make a pass.
Oh, no, it is not. But you do see it occasionally, and Johnson took advantage of it. I think he might have caught Papasavos napping just a little bit. Garcia appears to be on the move as well, as he's right on the back of Papasavos, trying to move his way up into that top 5.
One of the cool things here as well, we have 4 different teams in the top 4 right now. Paps with Sykes, Jay Howard Driver Development for Hughes, D-Force Racing for Clark, VRD Racing for Johnson. And a lot of the young drivers will come in and say, hey, Rob, which team do I need to be with? I say, just look at the results.
Yeah.
Because anybody can win. Anybody can be on the podium. We have such great operations in this program, all of them professionals, all of them great, obviously, driver development and coaching programs. And again, that's why we see the teams up front, because everybody in this program can win.
Garcia and Ho having one of the best battles. That's the one for 10th.
Sykes lead 4.7 seconds last time by. The gap battle we're watching there continuing now for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as Clark has closed back up on Lockie Hughes. But I don't know that Nikita Johnson, John, wouldn't be the driver to watch right now. He's on the move. Watch for him to try to get after Clark here pretty soon.
Yeah, no question. It looks like he's put a little distance between himself and Garcia. So Nikita Johnson putting the pressure on the 3rd place runner. They come onto the front straightaway. Simon Sykes is in another zip code.
Exactly.
He is long gone.
Down into turn number 1. He has gone by 5.7 seconds. I'm sure that they'll be on the radio telling him just to calm down right now.
Yep.
Hold on to your spot. We don't need to burn up these tires just in case something were to happen. Just so you guys know, we're at the halfway point now. 10 laps down, 10 to go for a 20-lap distance. Sykes, Hughes, Clark, Johnson, and Papasavos are your top 5. Garcia back by about 0.3 of a second. He's ready to come into the fight as well, the young 14-year-old in that black number 24. Sam Corey runs in 7th. Jacob Douglas, Chase Gardner, and Ethan Ho remain the drivers in the top 10, but George Garcia, the 10 for D-Force, continues to put the pressure on Ethan Ho for 10th as they work their way back in front of Tom Michaels.
Well, already by us is Simon Sykes in that great battle, and it goes all the way back then to 6th place right now. You've got Hughes, Clark, Johnson, Papasavos, and Garcia.
And that battle just now entering turn number 9 as Sykes is all the way up to turn 11. It's about a car length between that battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And last time by, we had several cars jump that yellow curbing here at the exit of turn 9, get 4 wheels off into the dirt. So it's been a struggle over here on this end of the racetrack.
And listen, the cars get light there coming through, John. We know that, right? Yep. They're really trying to rotate the car to get back on the throttle early. It's down into Thunder Valley. You want to get back on the power. And it doesn't take much for the car to skate out a little bit onto the rumbles on the outside of turn number 9. That is for sure. 6.4 seconds the lead for Simon Sykes. Last time by, he was about 0.8 of a second quicker than Hughes. And I'll tell you why. Because Lockie Hughes has got his mirrors full right now with Matt Clark.
Yeah, Matt Clark looking very, very racy as they make it up into the carousel turn. But he's got to watch his mirrors as well as young Nikita Johnson is right there with him. That's a great three-way battle for second spot. And just behind them, Papasavas holding his own with Garcia keeping touch with him. And we've been following the battle between Ho and Garcia for 10th. Rusty?
Yeah, here comes a challenge. Johnson on the outside, Tom.
And they touch wheels. Off the track goes the number 17 car. Nikita Johnson pulls it back on. But there's a change there as Nikita Johnson falls well back in the serial.
And that battle for second, third, and fourth right now has opened up spacing between each of those drivers. Matt Clark has a little bit more space this time as he heads up the hill out of Thunder Valley, but stays single file.
As they say, folks, Nikita Johnson certainly sent it down into turn number 4. Tried to run the outside on Matt Clark. Little touch there. And listen, when you're running that outside line and you're not quite around the driver there, you're really running on the ragged edge. It does not take much when you're out there. Even a little bit of contact could send you off. But props to Nikita for being able to control the car when it got into the grass. He brought it back onto the racetrack in a safe manner to the inside. Got a couple of drivers streaming by, though, at that point. Papasavas, Garcia, Corey all getting by. Let's have a look at what happened there down in to turn number 4. We'll have a replay for you here. Johnson obviously getting aggressive, as we know. There he is on the outside of Clark. They come down into turn number 4. He's almost around, and just a little bit of a touch there, I think, left front to right rear, but maybe not even that. Maybe even to the – it might have been – side by side to a certain extent, just a light touch
wheel,
there.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, when you're at the absolute edge of adhesion, all it takes is that little nudge, and you break traction. That's what we saw. And for Nikita, you watched him. He also actually had to kind of get the wheel straightened back up again. Instead of spinning out, he realized where he was. So good situational awareness for a young 15-year-old that can't even drive on the street yet.
Exactly. Yeah, his mom has to bring him to the track because he can't drive his own car.
Matt Clark closing in on the back of Lockie Hughes right now. That battle is about a half a car length between those two, and then another 5 back to Papasavas.
One quick thing to pick up as well, Chase Gardner, the 95 for Exclusive Autosport, chipping away. I've been watching there the gap, about a tenth of a second a lap. He's got it down to a half a second right now. No, less than a half a second. Last time by, it was a tenth quicker. They'll come by again, and we'll pick it up here as he is trying to close up. Again, that is the battle. It would be the battle for 8th and 9th, a 23 flat for both of those drivers. So that gap just over 0.4 of a second. Gardner running 9th, Douglas in 8th spot. Up the road from them about a second is Johnson. Everybody else kind of lining up. You see them as they work their way through the keyhole now. Lockie Hughes has done everything he possibly can to hold off Matt Clark. And, of course, Clark coming in, I believe, 3rd spot in the points right now after another strong run. At that point, what goes on in your head? Do I take a 3rd? Do I throw it in there to try to get 2nd? He's trying to win a championship. Of course, he goes to his home race next week in Toronto as well. And he looks to the inside of turn number 4. Not quite enough, Tom.
Nope, can't get it done right now. Matt Clark is following in the wheel tracks of Lockie Hughes. Off of turn 6 they go. Carlick separating 2nd and 3rd. And we've got a car off into the sand trap. And it is pointed counter race, and I think that car is stuck. And we're going to have to go to a full course yellow.
Yeah, guys, I think they're saying potentially the number 97 of Zach Ping is off the racetrack. And indeed, full course yellow. I talked about that 6-point-something gap for Sykes. It was 7.6 last time. Bye, John. Say goodbye to that.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
So Sykes' massive lead. That's why when you get a lead like that, you back off and hold the tires a little bit as we are full course yellow. We have 6 laps to go. We'll put 14 in the books this time by. And again, a driver off in China Beach, we believe, the AMR safety crew heading. We can't see it, so he could be well off right now as well. So we'll find out who that is. They come back around. I believe it's going to be Zach Ping as he falls down the order.
And Rusty, you've got another car off?
Yeah, I've got the number 9 off here. Made contact with the inside wall. Actually, for this weekend, I'll call it the Ray Hall maneuver, where he hit the curbing on the outside and the car spun back across and hit the tire wall on the inside enough to knock the rear wing off the car.
Right, there you go.
So that's that number 9 machine that ended up sitting counter race in the grass up against the wall. He's out of the car and fine, but the car is damaged.
We're going to have a look at it here, folks. We'll get a shot at it here with the camera. We'll pick up what happened here. Zach Ping in the 97. We know he was involved. Watch them coming down into the corner here, a little deeper down. Yeah, watch those two drivers to the inside. They're going to battle and sit their way down here. There's contact. Yeah, little touch there. And Ping is going to go straight off. And then he gets into the dirt as well. Luckily for him, the car didn't go over as he bit just like Simon Pagenaud's car did. Might have been battling it out there with Logan Adams in the number 9, but a bit of a touch. That was kind of aggressive. They were kind of pinching each other down to the bottom of the racetrack over in turn number 4. But again, the AMR IndyCar safety crew is there to try to get things back underway to see whether or not we can't bang out a couple of more green flag laps. They'll put lap 15 in the books when they come back around. And again, Zach Ping, the number 97, falling out where he was. That's going to move Thomas Schrag up into 13th, Danny Duchelski into 14th, and Avery Towns now into the 15th spot. Top 10 sees Sykes leading, Hughes, Clark, Papasavas, and now Garcia up into the 5th spot after that issue with Johnson. Sam Corey now runs 6th, Nikita Johnson 7th, Jacob Douglas in 8th, Chase Gardner 9th, and George Garciarces finally able to get by Ethan Ho. That was some relentless pressure through the middle part of that race. He was able to slip by, so move Garciarces now up into 10th.
Yeah, he made that pass just before the incident with Zach Ping happened right behind them. So that's the move for the Mexican. Garcia able to get up into the 10th spot. Ethan Ho 11th, Al Mori in the 12th spot. Schrag continues to work his way forward. Duchelski in the 14th spot, and Avery Towns rounds out the top 15.
Yeah, really good experience for Thomas Schrag, the Ohio driver with, as I said, quite a bit of F1600 experience, putting together a program to come with exclusive Autosport here, that number 90 machine. For him, it's all about just getting experience, right? The laps, he's not obviously not in the championship. It's a debut here. He's just trying to see, just get some laps in, get a feel for it, get a feel for the competition, the series itself. He was very good in testing on Thursday, which is sad, the fact that he wasn't able to kind of get a qualifying lap. They had an issue with the electronics on the car. He wasn't able to get it fired, and then not able to actually get out to qualify at all. So starting at the tail of the field for all his races. Tough one for him for sure. But again, he's worked his way forward. He was a top 15 runner yesterday, and he'll get himself up here into 13th now with a chance to restart. Both he and Al Mori, who started back in the 17th spot, potentially able to go after Ethan Ho and Garciarces as well. So drivers working their way back around. Look at it. That's actually Ping pulling away in the number 97 after that incident. We saw him almost bite into the gravel coming through turn number 4 into China Beach, but able to pull away. So shout out to the builders of the Tatis chassis back in Italy, because that thing fantastic. As he's able to pull away and will likely come back to pit lane.
Yeah, Tom, the safety crew deposited him on the racetrack, and he was able to drive away. That's not good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he is away, and here comes the field once again.
And that 97, Zach Ping, as he just came by me, that left front tire is not on the ground as he is heading back up through Thunder Valley.
Yeah, suspension damage for sure for that machine. You can see it's not even moving there. So, yeah, so Zach Ping will bring up at least back to pit lane. They'll be able to assess it and get him back into the paddock. Because remember, we're back at it again this afternoon. Another race for these drivers here. The green flag scheduled to go for race number 3 of this triple header weekend right around 4:30 this afternoon. We have that race at 4:30, and then we'll follow it up with the USF Pro drivers as well. So lots more racing in this USF Pro Championships. If you're a fan who's been coming to Mid-Ohio for many years, you'll remember this as the Road to Indy Series presented by Cooper Tires. We renamed it in the offseason the USF Pro Championships, and still has USF 2000, still has the USF Pro 2000, which has been Indy Pro 2000 over the last couple of years. And then we added in our USF Juniors program last year, the essentially entry level of drivers coming out of the Skip Barber Racing School, which is the official racing school of the USF Pro Championships. From there, through karting, into the USF Juniors program. So we're going green this time by, folks, because the pace car back on it. We got it here. We'll put lap 16 in the books. Could be a 4-lap dash. Simon Sykes back on the loud pedal. Green flag flying at start finish, and Lucky Hughes will look to attack. Same goes for further back right now as Papasavas getting attacked by Max Garcia. He's got life breathed into his program as well. Can Garcia potentially get himself onto the podium? That yellow flag allowing him to close back up to the front-running quintet. Sykes, though, having to block down to the inside. Oh, big contact, and over he goes. Lucky Hughes has made contact, and he is barrel-rolled into turn number 2. He tried to go to the inside. Sykes covered off the bottom, and he got up on top of the curbing. Full course caution. I got to say, this will probably wrap this one here up as Sykes is barrel-rolled in turn number 2.
Yeah, Lucky Hughes going
probably Lucky Hughes is barreled, not Sykes.
Exactly. He was trying to make a pass on Sykes, got inside and touched wheels as so happened. It climbed right up over the rear wheel of Simon Sykes' car, and that put him into a roll.
Simon Sykes has no rear wing on the car right now,
Yep.
and when the yellow came out, I believe that Matt Clark has gone to P1. So Clark has moved in front of Sykes. The rear wing gone on the car of Sykes as Lockie went to the inside. As I said, Sykes covered off the inside and the contact was made. We'll definitely have a look at the replay for you here in a bit, but we'll kind of let things settle in right now as the AMR IndyCar safety crew getting out to Lockie Hughes. Again, we saw a nasty wreck for Simon Pagenaud in turn number 4. We're going to make sure everything is fine with Lockie Hughes. And again, one of the things about these cars, folks, and this just happened in 2022, but as you'll see, those of you who have been fans of this program, we didn't have a halo. Obviously, it's one of the things. It was an open cockpit car and has been for 20 plus years in USF 2000. It started all the way back in the early 1990s. We added the halo on the car in 2022, and it has already proven itself time and time again. For instance, that we've had guys over top of each other. We had one happen in Indianapolis, and again, we saw what the aero screen did for Simon Pagenaud, and John, the same thing with the halo here for USF 2000. That definitely will be able to protect Lockie Hughes into turn number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great investment in safety, and I'm glad to see that it's okay. You can see Simon Sykes' wing laying in the gravel trap there as Lockie Hughes climbed right over the back of that car and knocked the wing off of it.
So, folks, being told right now that Lockie Hughes is out of the race car. So that is fantastic news. And again, I already gave one shout out to Tatis that builds our chassis. They build such a fantastic junior Formula race car. And we, we talked a lot about bringing that halo in. And it has, again, like I said, it has been something that has stepped up on several occasions to take care of our drivers, to protect them. Here is the replay, folks. We're going to have a look at this. You'll watch Simon Sykes on the lead. You'll see Lockie Hughes kind of make his move to the inside. He goes to the inside, down comes Sykes a little bit. He climbs right up over top of the curbing, and essentially coming up over the curbing at that speed launches the car up into the air, and then, of course, helped over. You can see the end of it here as he essentially climbs right over top of Simon Sykes. Clark able to go to the inside. Sykes loses the rear wing, and again, upside down is where he comes to a rest for Lockie Hughes to see him get out of the car. Man, feeling good now. I had some goosebumps. I didn't like that.
Yeah, that's two barrel rolls already today with Simon Pagenaud, a dramatic one when he lost the brakes on that car coming down into turn 4 at the highest speed point of the racetrack. And this one just wrong place, wrong time. I don't think Sykes was aware that Hughes was coming to him on the inside, so he pinched it off just a little bit. Hughes had nowhere to go but up on the curb, and that's what started the car on its roll, and he took the wing off the back of Sykes' car on the way to the gravel track.
And literally just rode up the back of the car. We saw that up and over, and then, of course, into the gravel. As it resets, Clark is your leader. Sykes second, Papasavas in third, Garcia fourth, Corey fifth. Johnson runs sixth. Chase Gardner able to get by Jacob Douglas. So Gardner up into seventh, Douglas eighth, Garcia ninth, and Ethan Ho in that 10th spot. So Clark is your leader. They'll put lap number 18 in the books this next time by. I don't know that we're going to be able to go back to green flag racing. We'd have to go green next time. Obviously, we'll put lap number 19 in the books. So as it stands, Matt Clark looking at his first road course win of the year. Sykes, I think, will be lucky if we don't go back to green. With no rear wing, he's going to get swallowed up.
Oh, sure, yeah.
In these tough corners where, again, these longer duration corners, the keyhole, the carousel, these cars rely on the balance of the front and the rear wing. When you lose the rear wing, all of a sudden the car's going to lose the rear coming through, especially the downhill keyhole.
Sure.
He'd be a sitting duck heading down into turn number 4. So Sykes will be hoping this thing goes yellow the whole time, and I just don't know that we're going to be able to go green this next time by. Yellow flag still flying, and indeed, I would expect to see the AMR safety crew still trying to get that car out in turn number 2.
Rusty, you've got a view of that?
Yeah, they are taking it out the gate right now. As you mentioned, John, the back door was already up on the hook. They're taking it out the back door, and the safety team is restaging. So it's going to be green here the next time the pace car goes by the start-finish if they decide they want to start this. But we are clear out here in the keyhole turn.
So you think about championship, the championship implications of this right now, John. Obviously, Lockie Hughes second place in points. If it goes yellow, Simon Sykes is going to get a big gap on him because Lockie Hughes is finishing down in the 19th spot. But if we go back to green, all of a sudden they're going to be attacking like crazy, and Simon Sykes is going to have the elbows up in that number 22 Pabst Racing Machine. So not sure what we're going to do. I have not got a call yet in terms of a text from a race control to see whether or not we are going to go back to green. But around the course. Our guys are telling us that it looks like the lights are out of the pace car, so we may be going back to green flag racing. This is going to be exciting because I'll tell you this, Matt Clark's going to be able to get away cleanly because you know that Sykes is not going to be able to roll that much corner speed through turn number 1, not having the wing. I guarantee he's working on the brake bias right now to get that thing to rotate a little bit more. This is going to be an interesting run here. So, again, your Papasavas, your Corey, your Garcia, you're seeing a podium. You're seeing a chance to go to P2 here in a big way because Papasavas on the gearbox of Sykes, he knows exactly what's happening, John. You're in trouble. You got no rear wing. I'm going to attack. Lights are out, folks. It's time to go racing. It's the second event of this triple header, the Discount Tire Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, the USF 2000, presented by Cooper Tires program. And Matt Clark looking to close up big time in the championship as he is third coming in. Will he get a race win? Pace car has gone on off. Thank you to the AMR safety crew. And we are getting ready to race. Simon Sykes comes into pit lane.
Yeah, I think he realizes he has no chance. So into the pit lane he comes. And Matt Clark gets a big jump over Papasavas, who's looking for his second podium in a row here.
Yeah, so here we go, folks. The battle here on the final circuit. They'll work their way to turn number 1, down into the keyhole. Matt Clark looking for that victory, winning on the oval. He's got a pretty solid gap, pretty aggressive further back. Papasavas sliding into that second position. Sam Corey potentially up into third for VRD Racing. Here's your final circuit as they work their way out of the keyhole. Everybody ready to attack. Back there you see Garciarce looking at Gardner as well, because there's going to be some fighting there as Douglas was able to go back to 6th. Big run down into turn number 4, and there's a move to the inside potentially as Papasavas has closed right up on Matt Clark. So the work not done yet for the young Canadian here on Canada Day. Can he win for D-Force Racing? He'll cover off the bottom a little bit heading down to turn number 6.
I've got cars into the tire barrier
We've
down
got
here.
contact down in turn number 4, 5. What do you got there, Tom? And
we got a couple of cars into the tire barrier here just down below us that have come together in the back of the field.
So contact further back in the field. We'll keep our eyes on the leaders here right now because we are rolling in here on the final circuit. Papasavas is all over Clark. Clark going to stay to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to stack things up behind as well. A little bit of bump and run further back. Clark coming out of the final couple of corners. And on Canada Day, the Canadian wins at Mid-Ohio. Matt Clark winning by just 0.6 of a second over Papasavas. Second yesterday for the Ohio driver, rather a win yesterday, second today for Papasavas. And Sam Corey started 10th, ends up in 3rd. Great run for Corey onto the podium in the number 14. Nikita Johnson in 4th spot. Garcia gets 5th. Douglas 6th. Gardner 7th. Garciarces ends up in 8th. Ethan Ho and Al Morey from 17th up to 10th. A great job for Al Morey there. How about Simon Sykes finishing 18th? He will gain maybe 1 point on Lockie Hughes after that contact in turn number 2.
Yeah, I think it was a late call from the crew to probably bring Simon Sykes in because they didn't want him at risk, knowing that car was going to be a handful without the rear wing.
Or was it a drive-through penalty? I wonder if they may have looked at that as incident responsibility as he was kind of coming across there in the contact. So either a call to come into the pits or potentially a penalty, drive-through penalty for Simon Sykes. We'll find out for you when we can. But the bottom line is this. We had ourselves a battle at the very end. Matt Clark, who was able to assume the lead after the contact, was aggressively attacked by Papasavas, who won yesterday. And I talked about the fact the confidence was there. He knows how good it is. He ends up finishing second, but not without a valiant effort.
Oh, yeah, no question at all. And Sam Corey, really the guy who made up the most ground here after starting down in the order, started in 10th position, put himself up on the box.
Yeah, that's a big run for Sam Corey. He 100% needed that for sure. For him to be able to get up and work with it, and to go by his teammate Nikita Johnson as well. Nikita, of course, kind of leading that team in terms of the points and his results. A big finish for him. Outside the top 10, Thomas Schrag, who started at the tail of the field in the 21st spot, ends up working his way up into 11th, so a 10-position improvement for Schrag. Maxwell Jamison 12th, Brady Golan 13th, Carson Etter 14th, and Gordon Scully rounding up the 15 drivers. Duchelski ends up in 16th, Towns in 17th. Sykes, as we said, did not get the last lap in. He ends up in 18th ahead of Lockie Hughes. It's just, this championship just keeps, and Sykes been able to get away and been able to finish that lap. He ends up getting massive points. It ends up being probably a 1 point change. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly right. It just Turns out that with that battle between he and Lockie Hughes, they finish 18th and 19th,
Yeah.
basically. So
Unbelievable.
it won't have that much impact on the points battle.
Unbelievable for sure. Drivers will work their way in now here into victory lane. Jeremy Shaw's going to take care of that for me, so I'll be able to hang up here with you because we do have our USF Pro 2000 drivers getting ready to roll out. I believe we'll start the driver command for that in about 5 minutes' time. So there's Matt Clark working his way in. A big victory for him, as I had said before. It's Canada Day, and the driver from Milton, Ontario, is going to be hoisting up that Canadian flag when he gets on the podium. Big victory for Mac here, having won on the oval at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. And again, there's Danny Anderson coming in for the handshake, Ernesto Martinez as well from D-Force Racing. This is huge for Matt Clark to get him back in the championship. And not only simply because he gets the victory, but the two guys he was chasing end up finishing back in 18th and 19th. Massive, massive championship implications for that incident over in turn number 2.